Well, hello and welcome. I'm glad that you're with us as we continue our chronological read through of the Bible. Today we're going to finish up actually First and Second Kings and First and Second Chronicles. We're reading the last couple of chapters of Second Kings and the last chapter of Chronicles. We're going to read about the decline, the final decline of Judah, the punishment that she receives for breaking the covenant and refusing to listen to God and his prophets. After our reading today, Judah will never again be an independent kingdom with her own king. She will always be um, under some other country. The last three kings of Judah, Jehoiakim, Jehoiachin, and Zedekiah, all rule under the shadow of Babylon, and they all do evil in the sight of God. Jehoiakim first serves Nebuchadnezzar, as he should, but then he foolishly rebels against him. Remember that God has told Judah to submit to Babylon. Um, and since he doesn't do that, he's crushed. Jehoiachin then becomes king at 18 years of age. He actually surrenders to Babylon 3 months later, and he's exiled to Babylon, where he will eventually be released from prison, given a daily ration, though he never returns to Jerusalem. An uncle of Jehoiachin is made king by Babylon and changes his name to Zedekiah. He also does evil in the sight of the Lord, and eventually he also rebels against Babylon, even though he was placed there as a vassal. This being the third rebellion of Judah against Babylon, King Nebuchadnezzar lays siege to Jerusalem, reaches the city wall, and utterly destroys it. Zedekiah and his men try to flee, but they're captured. Many of the men, including his sons, are killed right before him, right in front of his eyes, and then his eyes are put out so that that's the last thing he sees. And he's carted off to Babylon. Jerusalem is sacked and razed. The temple, the palace, the large houses, everything's burned to the ground. The treasures of the temple are taken to Babylon as well, as some of the people. But most of the leaders are killed because, well, they're the ones that have led this rebellion against Babylon. And of course, therefore, the Lord, now this third time. So the poor are left in the land to tend the vineyards. But God doesn't forget his people in Babylon. Eventually, Jehoiachin is released from prison, and though he must remain in Babylon, he receives an allowance of food and clothing from the king of Babylon. He's given a seat above the other kings who have been subjected to Babylon, and he ate regularly at the king's table. That's basically how the book of Kings ends. As I mentioned earlier, never again will Judah be independent under her own king, but the Davidic line will eventually lead to the birth of Jesus. Our reading of Chronicles ends with a brief paragraph about Cyrus, king of Persia, who is stirred up by God to release the Jews back to their home in Jerusalem to settle there again and rebuild the temple. So basically, the chronicler jumps forward 70, more or less 70 years, to the point when the Jews are released to go back, rebuild the temple, fulfilling the word of God that had been spoken through Jeremiah the prophet. Well, may God be with you and bless you as you continue to read. I pray that our time together is helpful as you sort through the sometimes slightly confusing order of things that are going on. I look forward to gathering with you again the next time.